Hi guys, I'm Veera. Welcome to the Jboss session. And today I'm going to show you on EAP 6 of the Jboss. I'm going to show you this how to configure this domain mode. As part of this session, so I'm going to show you the major stuff from the admin console. So okay, it's not from the XML level. So in the previous videos, if you see that we made it from this most of the time the configuration from the admin, the configuration XML level we did it. So but right now I'm going to show you the server creations and group creations, the starting server, stopping server, so everything I'm going to do from this admin console. So that's what the major the target of this session. Okay, so let's enjoy the session. So okay, so this is the domain mode we are going to start, and before so I'm going to show you in this tool node. Okay, so there will going to be a one is a master and one is a slave. Okay, so I'm going to show you the one master and one slave. Okay, so here the master is here, and this is I have an IP address 192.168.133.129. This is the Linux machine where so the my master Jboss server is installed. Okay, so we're going to install it anyhow. So I have a let me take it one slave server, and the slave server is going to 192.133.131. Okay, so this is how I'm going to have a two Linux machines. So let me install first, go with the two Linux machines on this, and install this Jboss server, and then we'll come back and discuss what next we need to do. So I'll keep updating on this page, so then you can understand some clearly the part. So I have a OPT. So okay, so I would like to create one folder called master. Go to the master. Okay, so here in the inside this is the folder of this master. So of course this is 129 Linux machine. So 129 is we would like to act as a master. So I want to install my Jboss under this folder. Okay, so this is my executable jar file. So installation. So how do you do this? So just so by default it is going to install inside root. Okay, but I would like to change this default path. Okay, so just want to continue. So by default it is going to install inside this root okay, by default one, whereas I would like to install under OPT and the master folder which is created already. So I would like to install under this. So this is the default configuration. I'm not going to change anything on this. So see here this, so this is asking this default user. So let me give this master is the username. So I don't want to go with this as admin users. Okay, so this is password. So let me give some password, this one, and this everything is a default. I'm not going to change any ports, I'm not going to change any configurations. Okay, so it's all the default. Okay, so the setup I would like to go with that. Okay, so once this is done, so this is going to get extracted things inside the master folder. So the my Jboss is exist under exactly the master is exist under OPT and master. This is the path where my server is installed. Okay, so anyhow this is not required response file. So okay, under OPT we have a master. Okay, so again we have our normal folders on this. Okay, the list of the folders. Okay, so the basically if you see this is the domain mode we would like to work on this, so definitely we have to look into this domain folder. Okay, so go to this domain folders, and this is the configuration files. So here we have a major configuration files on this. Okay, so when you're trying to start Jboss in the domain mode, so we're going to start with /domain.sh file. When you're trying to start like this, so by default it is going to pick the configuration file called host.xml file. Okay, the configuration file it is going to pick by default when you're trying to start with the domain.sh, it is going to pick host.xml file. Okay, so even you can go with another configuration file when you're trying to start it. You can go with host configure is equal to, you can go with host master.xml file. So either way, anyone you can pick it. So if you explicitly, if you want to use this host master file, then you have to specify when you're trying to start this Jboss domain mode. Okay, the difference between this host.xml file and host master.xml file is the same. So it's a quite if you go with the host.xml file, you need to add some tags explicitly. Okay, so when you go with the master and slave concept, okay, that's I'm going to show you that. Okay, so but the time being right now I'm going to, but you have to remember this, there's no differences between the host.xml file and host master.xml file, both are same. Okay, so the the configurations are little extra over here. So okay, if you go with host.xml, we have to configure the same stuff into host.xml file. That's all, nothing else difference. Okay, so that I'm going to show you the host master.xml files when I'm trying to start. So I have to start like this, my master server. Okay, so before starting this, so we have to configure the IP address according to my Linux machine. So let me start this master. Okay, so I would like to this is the configurations host master.xml file. When you open this, okay, let me show you the differences. Okay, so if you see the differences on this, okay, host master, if you open this, so the differences will be something like this. See here, so we do not have any servers. So because I would like to go with the master doesn't have any servers. Okay, that's what my intention. Okay, so because master and slave concept, so I would like to install some server. So it's very simple. The master doesn't have any servers, only the slave machines having the servers. That's what my concept. If it is the case, then you go with the host master. Okay, so if you want to create some servers also inside your master, you can choose with the host.xml file. So if you choose with the host.xml, by default the Jboss has given some configuration file. Go with here, so there is some already server is created, group is by default configuration. Okay, this by default, okay, the master contains some servers and groups. Okay, that's what. Right now I don't want to make any servers and the groups inside my master, so I want to go with a 0 inside my master. So I want to make it the groups and the servers, everything from the slave inside the slave server only. Okay, for that case, so let me start with this. Okay, so before starting this, so host master.xml, let me change some IP address. Okay, so localhost I would like to change into 0.1 22.16.129. Okay, store.xml, let me replace in everywhere. So, okay, cool. So just change my IP address and then come back to here, go bin directory, so domain.sh, okay, hyphen host config. Okay, so host master.xml file. Okay, so here I'm giving this host master file to pick this configuration file. That's what I'm trying to say, or else it will take by default host.xml file. Okay, so when I stay with the host master.xml file, it doesn't contain any server groups and no servers and nothing. So that's why it is going to start it like very simply. Okay, so if you see here, the host container started passive on demand, so it's successfully started. So okay, if it is not the case, okay, if it is not the case, if you want to go with the default, okay, so we already see in that it will going to pick by default the host.xml file. So it already configured the servers and the groups. See here, when you're trying to start here, it is trying to start the server 1. See here, so that means inside the master server, inside the master, so you are trying to start some servers. Okay, server 1 and server 2, see that server 2 is also starting. Okay, 2 JVM, so that means the 2 JVMs of single group or different group doesn't matter, but this is the default. Okay, so if you don't want to make any servers inside the master, you can go with host master. Okay, if you don't want to make it by default, I'm talking about this is the default. Okay, so default host.xml contains some servers information, then it's going to start it. Of course you can choose this host.xml and you can remove off. Okay, so it's up to you. So but I don't want to make any want to go with the default. Okay, so of course you can change, you can remove the stuff by choosing this host.xml also. Okay, okay, so I don't want to modify anything on this, so I'm trying to stop this. Okay, so let me go with the host master.xml file. Okay, cool. So I started my server with the host master.xml file. So my configuration is host master.xml file. There is no JVMs on this. Well, let me go with the slave server and I will come back again this. Okay, so this is my slave server. Again, go to this opt and let me create one folder called slave. Okay, this is my folder, and where is my executable over here, and java-char. I'm executing this. I'm trying to install inside this opt slave machine. Okay, default, and okay, so this is my path where I want to install my Jboss server. So again, so everything I'm going to go with default. Okay, here, okay, let me create the one user called slave. Password want to continue 0, default want to continue 0. Okay, cool, this stuff, cool. Okay, so we're not going to make any configuration change at master. Okay, so what I was trying to say here is, now once this is going to get installed, So what is our next step? Okay, so when I say the master and slave, okay, so there should be a communication between the master. So that's the meaning of it's a master and slave. Okay, so and also I would like to say something. People know the domain mode says always master slave. It's a no. Okay, in the domain mode also we can make it the standalone servers. Okay, that's a different thing. So okay, let's come back to this our slave server domain configuration servers. Okay, so here as well, when trying to start my slave server, I would like to choose host.xml or host slave.xml files. Okay, so here I am. So where my slave is installed under opt slave. So this is my Jboss is there, and here I would like to start my domain.sh. So by default, when you're trying to start, it is going to pick the configuration of host.xml. Obviously, the host.xml by default contains the servers and the groups. Okay, domain.sh, and you can go with host config is equal to host slave.xml file. Here host slave.xml file doesn't contain any servers in the group. Oh, let me check it. So host slave.xml file full doesn't. Okay, yeah, this is going to having some servers in group. So that's what our intention, right? So we would like to make it only no servers, and the root servers going to like to create inside the slave server. So okay, so again, so would like to say, so host.xml file contains the servers and the groups, and the host slave contains the servers and the groups. And what is the difference between these two in this case? Okay, so when you're trying to the differences will be something like this. Both are same. Okay, again I am trying to say both are same. There is little configurations are extra over here. Okay, so little configurations. So what is the configurations? So when you're trying to say, when I say master and slave, so I have to make a connection between these two. I have to make a connection master to the slave. That configurations are exists inside the host slave.xml file. Okay, so that configurations are exist inside the host slave.xml file. Okay, some XML level it's already configured. Okay, whereas if we choose this host.xml file, we have to configure, we have to explicitly write that configuration. So that's all, nothing else more. Okay, so let me explain that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you with the host slave.xml file. I would like to start it. So, okay, start it. So go to back, go to back, go to domain.sh, or let me change this configurations. 31 IP address I change it. So my IP address, so domain.sh hyphen host config is equal to host slave.xml file. So I would like to pick this configuration file, host slave.xml file. I'm going to show you there is something wrong. Let me kill something. It is started already. Host slave.xml file. Okay, so here something wrong. So Jboss master IP address. Check. So there's nothing starting. So the error is host master address. Okay, okay. Anyhow, if I start this, okay. So what it is saying is, oh, right, remote cannot resolve the Jboss domain. Okay. Okay, so when I choose this host slave.xml file, so what it contains. Okay, so let me open one more putty to be very clear. So that's our intention here is we have to make this connection between the master and the slave. Okay, on host slave.xml file. When you choose the host slave.xml file, see here server identities. Okay, there is something. This is the place where you're going to communicate. The communication should be happen between the master and slave, the connection to make this configurations that exist inside the host slave.xml. Whereas if you choose this host.xml file, that is not there, so we have to write it explicitly over here. So like this kind of differences about. Okay, so when I choose exactly host slave.xml file, so that kind of differences are there. Okay, so when I choose host slave.xml file, so that means you are intentionally choose, so you are trying to connect to the master, so that way configuration. So we choose the errors. So okay, what is that errors? Okay, so we got there is something configuration file over here, domain controller. So when you're trying to start this slave, we have to tell who is your master server. So that's why it is going to get failed. It is expecting this parameter. Either this parameter you can change it directly from here, or you can pass from the command line. Okay, so let me go with the stuff. So what our next step is, just we install the Jboss, and I would like to start with host slave.xml file. Before starting it, so let me change the configurations. So what the configurations, I want to make the connection between the master and slave. So I want to make the connection. Okay, when I start the slave server, the slave should connect to the master. The communication should be happen in the 2.1 master slave. So how to do this? Okay, so the first we need to create a user in the master. So for this case we have a few steps we have to follow that. Okay, so first we need to create the user. So this is to make this, first we need to create a user in the master. That user secret value configure in slave. Okay, the secret value we have to configure in the slave server. So this makes a sense the communications between the master and slave. So we have to configure that master, the user which is created inside the master. We have to configure in the slave host slave.xml file. Okay, so I'm back to the master. Okay, so master 129. Okay, so I'm like to create a user over here. So opt master pin directive. So I'm going to create add user.sh. Of course, I'm going to create a management user. And what is the management realm? Of course, the username is what. So I would like to create one user. Okay, so we already created the user called the master while installation. Okay, but I'm not sure that will not going to help because we need the secret value. Okay, so let me create it one. Okay, this is Jboss user. Okay, so let me create the one user, Jboss user. Okay, the password created, enter, yes, and you press here is a yes. This makes yes will generate the secret value. This secret value I have to, so this is two steps: creating a user, configure this secret value which is generated inside our slave server. Go to the slave mission, post to slave.xml file. So this is by default, it is come up with some secret value. Remove this stuff, but our existing one. Okay, so give us a new one. Okay, so we have to give some name to our slave mission. So what is the slave? This is the name of this mission. Okay, so this mission is connected to the master to identification for the slave. We have plenty of the slave servers, so each one is having one name. Okay, so you can give any names. Okay, so slave 1 I give it, and the user which is created inside the master, and that secret value I configured inside the server identities of the slave host slave.xml file. Cool, come down, and we have to configure, so who is your master. So when you're trying to start the slave server, we have to tell it who is my master. Okay, so what is the master of this slave? We need to configure inside the slave mission. 168.133.129 is my master IP address, and this is the master port. Okay, domain and the realm, and here we need to configure something, the user which is created. So what is the username which is created? We created the username is Jboss user. So that's it, that's all the configuration inside the master, the Jboss user. This is we configured, and the secret value we configured, and we given the master IP address. That's all. So for configuration 1, and go down, and the secret value and master IP address and the name. That's all. This cool. And then now I'm gonna start this slave server. Okay, so now let me start this. When you're trying to start this, okay, so it should connect to the master. See here, it should show one line over here. So okay, when after starting here, it should connect. See here, there is a line. Registered the remote slave host slave 1. This is the name which we given it in the host slave.xml file of the slave server. The name is important. The name to identify somebody is connected. Who is that guy? The slave 1 is connected. Cool. And this is connected. Now we turn the connection between this master and the slave. So like this, when you have a number of slave servers, each one to connect to the master, this is the basic configurations. The same user which we created in the master, you can configure another slave. So just think about it. Just let me, I have one more Linux machine. I want to just right now make it. So I want to make this communication between these two. So how do we make this? So we already created a user. Okay, the user is Jboss user is already created, Jboss user already there, and we have a secret value already. So save with that secret value, save that somewhere else. If you had any if you're going to do in the any future, you're going to add any slave servers, okay, slave 2, if you're going to add any slave servers to configure that the same user, or else you can create a new user, and no, that's not a problem. Either you can go with a single user which is created inside the master, or you can go with the multiple users and configure the same. There is no collision, there is no confusion over here. You can go with a single user or multiple user. Cool. So then now the communication we made it between the master and slave. So then now what? Okay. So then now the admin console will comes into the picture now. Okay, the user which we created inside the master. So I would like to log in from this admin console. Okay, so let me go with the so I'm going to open this master admin console. So VR master is running on 129 and 9990 is the admin console port. Okay, let me do this. Done. Okay, very slow. Cool. So this is my master IP address. So we created while installation we created one user. To connect to the slave we created one user. You can go with any users. Okay, so Jboss user which is created to connect us. Okay, you can go with any user, Jboss user. Okay, so now I logged in the user which is created inside the master. Click on the domain, click on the overview. What you can see here we can see there is some servers, main server group and other server group. Inside the main server group we have a server 1 is up and running, other server group server 2 is up and running. So how this is came into picture? This is the default configurations inside the slave host slave.xml file. Okay, so that's what I said it. Okay, when you choose this on a configuration file, so it is configured. Okay, there's a few details about this groups and servers they given it. So I don't want to use any of this. Let me remove the stuff. Okay, so let me stop my server, stop this server. So I would like to remove everything, the default stuff. Okay, to avoid the confusion. So okay, so we will going to make it the fresh one by one. Okay, so I would like to stop this as well, confirm this. Okay, so you stop the server and let me remove this. Okay, so okay, how to do this? Okay, so we stopped this both servers. We stopped these two servers are running inside the slave 1 machine. So the slave 1, the name which we given it. Okay, the name we given it. Okay, slave 1 is the name of the mission. Okay, the slave mission identification. So we give it. Cool. So we stopped whatever is running currently. Okay, so how to do this now? Go to this slave mission, slave 1. So my JVMs are there inside the slave. Go to the slave server configurations. So the groups and servers, let me remove one by one. Remove this, remove this, removed, and now the slave does not contain any servers. All the configurations are gone. Okay, so go to the master server groups. So let me remove this as well. I don't want to use any of this default configurations. Cool. Now click on the overview, the refresh button. So now gone. So now there is no configuration. So let me open and see this. Here it is having, we removed it. Okay, let me open this and see here. That's gone. No, it's gone. Now it's not your host slave.xml file that's previously it is there in the servers and the groups. We deleted from the master admin console. Okay, so the now, so I would like to create a group first. So when I say group, it will be something like this. So when I say group inside so the group something like this. So this item is not proper. Okay, cool, let me make it like this. Okay, so I would like to create a group. Okay, so think about it, this is a group. Okay, let me create one group name. What is my group name? First I would like to create a one development group. This is my group. So when I create the group from the master, okay, we have to create everything from the master. Okay, this will going to be available across the slave servers, okay. So let me create a group, server groups. Okay, I have to choose this is a master and add a new group. What is my group? And the dev group. While creating the group, you have to choose, okay, because we are going to create servers inside the groups. Okay, so here in the domain mode, so while creating the group itself, we have to choose which profile you want to assign to this group. After this, whatever the servers you created under this group are going to add into that particular profile automatically. So I'm going to go with no, just a full. Okay, so obviously I have to choose with the full sockets. Save it. Now I created one group. Okay, in master I created it. Okay, so the now what is done, we created a group. So that group is we created from the master and is available across the slave servers. Okay, but now what is the concept? I would like to create a JVM. I would like to create a server inside my slave machine. So this is the server I would like to create inside my slave one, and this server is exist inside this server group. Okay, so how to do this? Go to slave. So now I would like to create, we have a number of slave servers. We may have a 10 slave servers. In which slave server you would like to create the server? That is important. So in that case, come back to the slave, select the slave and server configurations, add a server inside the slave one. Now what is my name of the server? Okay, dev server one. So think about this, is the development server one, and this is under, definitely this under my group, development group. You created only one group as of now. If you create multiple, then you can see over here. The port offset, right now nothing is there, no server, so I can go with happily 0. So I would like to start this automatically, this server, when I start my slave server. Save it. Okay, so let's go with the overview. See here, right now in master we do not have any servers. Okay, and we do not, and we have a server under the slave one machine. Remember this point. So we created the server inside the slave machine. So that's what for that case. So under this group, dev server SRV1, we created under the slave one. Like this, we can create it, and let me start this. So I created a group and I created a server. When I start this, so it is going to start inside my slave server. Slave this SRV1, it is going to get started, and it is using full profile. So that is important, because this group, when you're trying to create the group, you have to decide it's going to use which profile. So I decided full. So the server which I created here, so this is my server. So this server is dev SRV1. So dev SRV1 is my server. Automatically this is belongs to full profile, and this is running on default port, so 8080 port. Okay, and what is the URL of this? So URL will be HTTP. So what is the host or where it is running? 31 is Linux IP address, and the port is 8080, because port offset is 0. That's all. The configurations is done in this. So that's all. Now we created a user. We created the group and we created the server. Okay, let me go with one more group. Go to the master. And let me create one more group. So this is a prod group. Prod dev, how it is look like. Okay, dev. This now prod group. I'm not going to create the prod group. Now this is going to be default profile. So default means standard by default. Okay, so we created one more group. So the group will be something like this. Again, it will be space issue. Okay, so let me draw like this. So we created one more group. Okay, so it is something like this. So this is prod group, and this is using just a default profile. So this group which you created is available across the slave machines. Okay, so the now this is available across the slave. Whether you can create or not create any servers on this is up to yours. Okay, so I would like to create one server. Go to the slave machine, server configurations. Already we have a one server that is belong to dev group. I'm going to add one more server, prod srv1. This is a production server, so this is should be under my production group, and port offset I have to have, because this server inside my slave, inside my slave 1, and again the same is I want to create inside my slave 1 machine only. So two JVMs are running on this. So one JVM, when you're trying to start over here, so it is going to occupy some ports 8080, 9990, it's something like that, the 4447, so many plenty of the ports it is going to be. To overcome that configurations, let me run with port offset 150. So auto start is equal to true. Cool. So I started it. I just created it. Go to the overview. This master overview. See here. So one more prod group. Inside the same slave. Either you can create over here master also. You can create now. You can create the servers inside the master as well. But I don't want to create it. Okay, slave 1 we have a production. So let me start this as well. Confirm it. Now you created two JVMs, two servers inside the slave, single slave mission, and both are different groups, under different groups. That's important. Okay, so at this moment the port offset is 150. So in that case 150, how it looks like. So you created one more JVM inside this group, and the information about this, it should be like this. So you created prod server 1, so prod srv1 you created, and you run this is 1 plus 150. so how it looks like, the ports would be by default is 8080, so we run plus 150 8230. So by default then it will come 8230 as a HTTP. So the final URL will be HTTP 492.168.133.131 8230. This is my HTTP. Okay, so I'm talking about only HTTP. So that's all. You have two JVMs are running in a single slave missions in two different groups, and make sure here we are not done a clustering. So that's a different part again. So this session is only about the creation of the group and creating the servers, and we can stop the server. So right now I'm into the master. So how do I stop this particular this inside my slave? Very simple. We can go with and stop any servers and do the deployment and do the whatever you want to do. So let me stop this server. I want to do deployment on this my production server. So how to do this? Go to the deployments and add it, and we need to upload some stuff into this. So this is my HTTP session login file over here. So I'm trying to upload this WAR file into this. So now where it is, just we are going to upload this. So first we need to upload this, then we have to assign into any group. So we have two groups. I would like to assign to my production group, only the production group. So how many servers we have under that group, it is going to get deployed automatically. So we have one server domain. So we have a under this prod server we have a prod srv1 is there inside my slave 1 mission. So that is going to get deployed inside that. Okay, so prod srv1, I think we stopped prod srv1. Which one we stopped is prod srv1 stopped. So good. So dev srv1, okay, we stopped dev srv1. Okay, so this is development is stopped it. Okay, so now prod srv1 is started. So whether it is started or not, you can check this. Java. See here. So prod srv1 is up and running. Okay, so then how do I access this? The same which is discussed, this IP address. So this is 131 that is running on. So 192.168.230 is a HTTP. So my Jboss is able to accessible. Okay, so this we done 8230. Okay, but right now this is shut down. I shut down this dev server. We deployed, of course we deployed inside this prod srv group. Under this production group we deployed under, so that's going to get deployed under prod srv1, the WAR file. Now able to accessible using 8230 HTTP port. So 8230, and my Jboss is accessible HTTP session login. So I got this application. Now submitted something. So now you have some stuff into this. Okay, so that's the different case. Okay, so obviously I'm not printing anything on this. Okay, so right now do that. Okay, so now I just trying to access directly, this particular server. Okay, if you observe this, we directly accessing this 8230 and 130. So if you want to access another server, you have to go with, again you have to change the port of another JVM, another server. So 8080. Okay, so this is one more server. So like this you can have a plenty of the servers you can create it. So you can create number of servers in a single slave mission under multiple group or single group. Okay, so when you add one more slave server right now, so these two groups are immediately will applicable to this slave servers. You just need to start this slave. While starting this, you need to give this where your master IP is running, and of course you need to make this connection before this. Okay, or starting this slave server. Once this is done, you can immediately start creating the servers on it. So that's what this master and slave. So you can control everything from this around from the master. You can create the servers and you can create the groups. Okay, okay. So that's all about this basic stuff from this build console. I'm trying to show you this by creating groups and creating the servers. Bye. Of course, you enjoyed this session. Thanks again. We'll meet with another session in the next attempt. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you so much.